Amen. I'm married shortly. Beginning this morning until the day before Shana,
That doesn't mean they didn't bill for it.
the day before New Year's. So we sound the shofar daily. So the benefit of those who didn't hear the shofar this morning will sound the shofar. Then we'll someone found was done to death, was slain, an unknown, unsolved murder. But not on the code, they don't know, not known who his killer was. So they go out and they measure from wherever the slain one who was done to death, wherever he lies, they measure the closest city to that where the one who was found slain, and they have to declare v'yomru, the whole process. They have to declare Yodin lo yishavchu. The elders of the city have to declare Yodin lo yishavchu shadom hazeh, that we're not responsible. There's no blood on our hands. And the commentaries question who suspects the elders of the community. You might suspect them of who knows what. They might have mincha late. They won't before shkia, after shkia or something. But murder, my goodness, to be that corrupt. Who is suspecting have blood on their hands? The Seder explained. It means that if someone who was wandering and needed help, he was hungry, you didn't feed him. He was thirsty, you didn't feed him. And you didn't escort him for amos. You did not escort him 4 amos on his way, bidding him farewell. So that's because we failed to tend to that. We failed to escort him. So then we would be responsible for his being murdered. Question is that they measure mothers. They measure the elders of they measure from the spot where the slain person is found, and they measure to the near city. It could be a distance of who knows how far. It could be a mile, it could be 5 miles, 10 miles, it could be 20 miles. We're talking about out in the desert, Badama, way out in the desert somewhere, barren land. So just because they didn't escort him, those 4 amos, those which is somewhere between 1.5 and 2 feet, and if it's 6 and 8 feet, that little distance, he's traveling miles and miles before he was murdered. And so therefore they should be responsible for being done to death. But the idea of escorting someone who is going on a trip, you bidding him farewell, you're saying goodbye to him, you're showing that he means something to you, you're showing that you care for him, you're giving him a certain honor, prestige. And this honor, prestige, it gives him confidence. So he goes out into the desert, and whatever lurches in the dark, he's ready and he's able to defend himself. Because you showing that you care for him, that gives him that extra confidence. He goes out, if he doesn't have that confidence, he's prey and it can be a victim of anything. There was the very famous one who made the very first girls' seminar, Sora Schneer, blessed memory. So her students asked, they said they wanted to have very much, they feel so close to her, they wanted to have a picture of her, pictures, take with them. She said, no, don't take with pictures, carry me in your heart. There was a big written about her, tell us, carry me in your heart. In the Holocaust, before when the Germans were putting to death and putting into concentration camps, they took a detailed group of Yidden, of Jews, and they sent them into a town near Krakow to ransack, to clean out all the Jewish homes of valuables, silver, diamonds, whatever there was in the houses. And you can imagine these Jews picking up a Kiddush cup, a becher, that they're going to just smash it and take the value in per ounce of silver, that a father, head of the house, with his aide, the grandparents, sat there on Shabbos and Yontiv by a Seder. The whole family sat together, turning us over to the Nazis, but he had no choice. A candelabra, Leichter, that a mother, a grandmother, sat and welcomed the Shabbos, and she prayed, she davened by the licht, and with tears, that the Almighty should give her children that would be God-fearing children, turn it over to the Nazis. There was one Yid, Rabbi Kurtz, who was sent on this work detail, and in one of the homes, a Jewish home, that he went in and collected some of the valuables thrown to the Nazis, he found there a few little diamonds, and he was able to put it into his ear and camouflage it. Something as small as that, he could risk. Anything more than that, it would be life-threatening. They put him to death to try to hide anything else. Something smaller than he was then put in line where they would examine all those about to be committed to the concentration camps. They had doctors examining them. If you were fortunate enough that the doctor felt you were in good enough health to do work, so you went to a living hell, you went to the concentration camp. If the doctor, after examining you, felt that you were not in good health, and so they had two lists, two lines, to go to life and death, concentration camp, put to death. This mental curse is standing in line, and he sees another Jew that has 2 fingers missing from his hand. So the doctor, just like you make out a shopping list, he puts him in the line to death. This man who was put in with 2 missing fingers was a total stranger to mental curse, but just the idea that a Jewish brother, a fellow Jew, is being put to death just because he's missing 2 fingers, he couldn't rest. He approached immediately the German doctor and he said to him, the Herr Doctor, he said, anything that I could give you that you should put this gentleman into those that are for life, to be put in a concentration camp. He said, I have money, I have money. True, I don't need your dirty, I don't need your dirty money. He said, maybe there's something that you do need. So he said, I'll tell you, I just got engaged, and my fiancée, my bride, I'm looking for a diamond for an engagement ring. He said, I have it. He said, I'll give you the diamond, and you'll write him for life. There were those that knew he had a few diamonds, one a very smaller one a much more expensive one. They were trying to whisper in his ear, don't give away the real good one. He said, what are you talking about? He whispered back to him, he said, we're dealing with a person's life. He said, I don't want to risk anything. Let me give him the best, make sure it goes through the deal. So he gave him a deal. The German doctor took the diamonds, and this Jew, this other Yid, he wrote him for life. They both survived because of the war. Israel, because he cared, only because he cared. Survived the war. After the war, Mendel Kurtz, he got married, raised a family. He suffered poverty in the extreme. He was struggling. And the other Jew somehow went into business. He opened up a bakery, and he was successful. He opened up a second bakery, he opened a chain of bakeries. When Mendel Kurtz married off his first daughter, as a token of gratitude, the baker brought him a wedding cake for the chasna. He needed more than a wedding cake. That itself takes the cake. By the second daughter, he didn't even bother bringing him a wedding cake. He completely forgot about it. About 2.5 years ago, this Mendel Kurtz left this world. He was lying on his deathbed, and all his dear ones were gathered around his bed. He said, my dear ones, he said, my dear one, my dear children, he said, it always hurt me so deeply that here's a man, I gave him the greatest gift. I gave him life. And he knew that I was struggling. He was in a position to help me. He was so callous, he ignored me completely. He said, but I'll tell you the truth. He says, where I'm going now, I'm so grateful that what I didn't receive any appreciation, any kind of thanks, any materialistic reward, because that deed, the reward for it, is going to remain completely intact, because where I'm going now, I can really use it. Chanani ben Akai she'omer, Rasa HaKadosh Baruch Hu Zakish, Es Yisrael, V'tikol Chiblam Torah Mitzvahs, Shenemar,